When we hear about a reality TV star getting a mommy makeover, it's pretty easy to jump to conclusions, right? But the story of 90 Day Fiancé's Loren Brovarnik is such a powerful reminder that there's almost always way more going on behind the scenes. Her journey isn't just about a surgery. Nope, it's a really intense story about trauma, survival, and ultimately taking back control.
Let's just start with Loren's own words right here. She calls this surgery the best decision she's ever made. Not just for herself, but for her kids, for her whole family. I mean, that's a huge statement for what a lot of people might just brush off as a cosmetic choice. So what made it so much more than that?
All right, let's get into what the procedure actually was. Because while Loren has said she'd do it all over again in a heartbeat, it was a heck of a lot more than just a simple tummy tuck.
So, the main medical reason for the tummy tuck was to fix this condition, abdominal diastasis. If you're not familiar, it's super common for moms, especially after having a few kids. It's where your core abdominal muscles, your six-pack muscles, literally separate down the middle.
And wow, when you look at the full scope of what she had done, it was extensive. We're talking a tummy tuck plus 360-degree liposuction on her chin, arms, back, and thighs. And then they even transferred some of that fat to her breasts. This was a massive, full-body procedure.
But it's really important to know not everything went perfectly. Loren's been super candid that the fat transfer didn't actually hold, as she puts it. It just adds this layer of real honesty to her story, It wasn't some magic fix for everything.
Okay, so this surgery wasn't just about the physical side of things. It was completely tied up in this life-altering medical emergency and a decision that would change her family forever.
So this is really the crucial point. The timing of this surgery was no accident. It basically marked the end of a huge chapter for Loren and her husband, Alexei. And that decision to have no more kids, well, it wasn't really a choice. It was a necessity. Three little kids are at the absolute center of Loren and Alexei's world. You've got Shai, Asher, and little Ariel. And they are the reason for this whole emotional journey. So get this, the couple had actually been planning on having a fourth baby. But all those plans came to a sudden, screeching halt when Loren was told point blank that she just couldn't carry another pregnancy. And this is the part of the story she kept totally private for a long time. She had to have a hysterectomy. So this wasn't about choosing their family size anymore. This was a medical reality that was forced on her. And the reason for that hysterectomy, it all goes back to a terrifying, near-fatal complication that happened when she was giving birth to her youngest, Ariel, an event that, in her own words, almost killed us. And just how serious are we talking? Well, her doctor put it in the most chilling way possible. He told her, if I waited 5 more minutes, we would not be having this kind of conversation. Just think about that. 5 minutes. That was the difference between life and a completely different outcome. So here's what was happening. During labor, her uterus started to rupture. She was bleeding out fast, which meant her daughter, Ariel, was in immediate danger inside the womb. An emergency delivery was done just 35 minutes after they realized what was happening, and it saved both of their lives. Just incredible.
So after you survive something like that, it leaves deep scars, right? Physical and emotional. So how did the family even start to heal and move on from that?
Loren is very, very clear that this was a trauma, and it's one she's still working through. I mean, with 3 little kids running around, when do you ever get the time to stop and really process something so huge?
She gives so much credit to her husband, Alexei, for being her absolute rock through everything. She just gushes about him, calls him the best dad and the best partner, which just shows how important that support system was for her. After all of that, their shared mission became just crystal clear. Create a loving, stable environment for their children. They really believe that the strength of their own relationship is the foundation for their kids' happiness. And this brings us right back around to where we started. That surgery, the one that repaired the physical damage from her pregnancies, it became a symbol. It was an act of taking back control of her body after it had gone through this life-threatening trauma. It was a powerful step toward finding closure on a chapter that was closed for her, not by her. So what's the big takeaway here? What do we learn from Loren sharing such a deeply, deeply personal story?
It really leaves us with this question, doesn't it? When we hear stories like this, these real stories of trauma, survival, and recovery, how does it change how we look at things like mommy makeovers? It kind of forces us to look beyond the surface and to really think about the complex and sometimes painful reasons why someone might make that choice for their body.